Hello, welcome to ATI 4205. This session will continue addressing warehouse operations and will look at operations of a cross-dock warehouse. And remember that the cross-dock warehouse has short inventory time, which requires different warehouse operations. In addition, the session will discuss setting up warehouse performance measures to ensure operations efficiency. It will also address methods, tools, and techniques, maybe equipment, to move the material from one place to another. When setting up cross-dock warehouse operations, we need to consider the short-term storage. The warehouse might have little, if any, rack space with low ceilings, very low ceilings. It should be able to support the consolidation of incoming containers and pallets. Now remember that what we are trying to do, we are trying to dismantle whatever we have. If it's a container, we are taking the pallets from inside. If it's a pallet, we are taking the boxes from that pallet. If we have a box, then we are taking the items from inside these boxes. So we should be able to deconsolidate these items in this warehouse and distribute the items to the outgoing or the shipping area. In some cases, it should support the deconsolidation of the smaller, like we said, boxes where we can items and then distribute the items to the different trucks. Cross-dock warehouses are often located close to ocean ports or airports. In the cross-dock warehouse, doors are on two sides of the building with the need to get things in and out as soon as possible. So you will see on one side the inbound, on the other side the outbound, and the process activities will be mostly eliminated because you are moving from the inbound to the outbound. All what we're doing, we are deconsolidating the items to make sure that we are distributing from the in to out. The inbound activities will be receiving with less sub-activities, and put away will be for a short time if needed, if any. And the outbound activities, many sub-activities might be also eliminated, and items could be shipped directly after confirmation that this is the item, this is the number, and the amount or the quantity that we need to ship to the other side. Whether dealing with traditional warehouse operations or cross-dock operations, how do a company measure their performance? How do you know that your warehouse is performing well? Your warehouse operations are performing well. Companies usually use key performance measures and indicators to measure the performance of warehouse operations. These measures cover many areas such as the operations financial, the productivity, the utilization, the quality, the cycle time, safety, and the green initiative of these operations. So we need to look at these sides or these areas of the operations. Some of the indicators that can be used to measure the performance of inbound operations and activities are the total number of inbound receipts, total number of trailers received, number of cases received, number or percentage of incomplete orders received, number or percentage of orders with documentation errors received, total labor cost, like the overtime, for example. Some of the indicators that can be used to measure the performance of outbound operations and activities are total number of outbound orders picked or shipped, total pallets, cases, cartons, or boxes picked or shipped, number or percentage of non-conforming orders, percentage of on-time orders, number of back orders, and total labor costs. Some of the indicators that can be used to measure the performance of process operations or warehouse operations and activities are the total number of active SKUs, or barcodes or RFIDs, total number of locations with correct SKUs, quantity, date, and lot ID, the total number of locations audited, and total warehouse damage or theft items. Using these measures, we can find always opportunities for improvement and opportunities to optimize. When we say optimize, means maximize or minimize related outcomes. Usually maximize profit, maximize efficiency, maximize effectiveness, accessibility, minimize cost, minimize damage or waste, these things. So this slide lists some of the examples of opportunities of improvement, such as we said, maximize effective use of space, maximize effective use of equipment, maximize effective use of labor, maximize accessibility of all items to be able to reach them fast and easy, maximize protection of all items, maximize effective use of information, maximize the protection of companies' assets, maximize or minimize goods handling, the less labor we have, and the less cost. Minimize the company's operations, the overall operating cost. We can also optimize picking workloads and optimize workforce assignment and optimize picking routes or paths. Another important thing that is important in warehouse or warehouse operations and will definitely increase productivity is the type of equipment used to support warehouse activities. What type of equipment do we need to do that? So the equipment used will reduce the cost of labor and increase space utilization. Now remember that we are trying to reduce handling cost or handling time. So when we reduce handling, then we are reducing the cost. And to do that, we need special equipment. Equipment will enable workers to reach to higher shelves, and it will allow more stacking on shelves. In addition, it will increase the efficiency of order picking through increasing the SKU density and supporting the automated transfer of material from storage to sorting and consolidation area. The equipment will increase the throughput of the facility by establishing more ergonomic environment arrangement for the warehouse operators. Operators will not be able to pick up heavy items, but using the equipment, actually it will assist them to pick up those heavy items and put them wherever needed. And using specialized equipment can facilitate picking and replenishment through machine parallel activities. The equipment also plays an important role in maintaining the quality of product and warehouse activities through providing the proper storage environment considering temperature, humidity, and other storage issues. Equipment can provide efficient ways for product tracing and identification. Material handling will be safe and secured using the proper equipment. In addition, equipment facilitate order sortation and consolidation. Warehouse equipment can be classified as follows. Containers and unitizing equipment, where you can put many items, many boxes in one container or one unit. That's why we call it unitizing. We have storage and retrieval equipment, unit load, small load. We can make it as small loads or big loads. We have conveyors, warehouse docks and dock related equipment, and automatic identification and communication equipment. Inventory or items can be stored in pallets, boxes, or as individual items, and the pallets themselves can be inside containers. So pallets can be stored either by being stacked over each other or stored on a rack. Once we receive the container, we take the pallets and we can store the pallets as is. Stacking over each other in blocks is an efficient storage mode when there are multiple pallets per SKU and when inventory is turned in large increments. That is, several loads of the same SKU are received or shipped at one time. Since they are all similar, we can put them in a pile and we can store them in these blocks on the floor, and that will be our way of storing items. Now, the main problems with the block stacking is the loss of space due to the honeycomb. You are putting them in piles, but those piles, some of them will have odd numbers that will not fill the space, so it will not be as effective. Not only that, but also you are not utilizing the vertical dimension of the facility. You cannot put them on top of each other for a big height or a large height. That's why you have them in a block or a stack maybe of two or three pallets on top of each other, but you cannot put more. And if you cannot put more, that means you are not utilizing the vertical space. The rack or shelf pallet storage can be single depth, which can take only one pallet, or double depth, where it takes two pallets. The single deep or single depth is called the benchmark storage mode. The rack supports a totally random access to pallets, but to stack all these pallets, many aisles must be available because you are using only one depth or one pallet deep, which leads to inefficient space utilization. In the double deep rack, two selective racks placed back to back, that is two deep lanes. Each lane dedicate or it's dedicated to one SKU, which leads to space loss in case of SKUs with odd number of pallets. For example, if you have three pallets instead of four pallets, then you are taking space of one of two lanes. First lane has two and the second lane has only one, instead of taking advantage of the two depth lane. Although this way of stacking utilize less space than the single depth stacking, which is saving almost like 50% of aisle space, more specialized equipment will be needed to retrieve the deep pallets, which is inside, all the way inside. So you need more equipment or more specialized equipment to bring the pallet from that depth. The rack can be also made in a way where the equipment can drive in or through. And the rack can be pallet flow or unit load automatic storage and retrieval system. When we say drive in through the rack, it can take up to 5 or 10 loads of depth, which is better space utilization but more difficult, even dangerous retrieval when you have to go in through drive in and take one of the 5 loads or 2 loads or something like that from the inside. So it's better utilization but more difficult and dangerous. Now, one of the things in this case is that when you are using the forklift has sharp edges down, so it might actually penetrate one of the boxes from another pallet or break another pallet. So they have to be careful when dealing with this type of lanes or racks. In the pallet flow rack, it can take up to pallets deep, which is very good. The rack shelves are slanted and have rollers, and therefore every time you take a pallet out or retrieve it from a lane, the pallet behind it just takes its position. It will roll down and takes its position, which will allow for simultaneous picking and restocking. It supports first in, first out operations. This method is typically used in high throughput facilities. Pallets of long items such as like timber or pipes or lumbers could be stacked on cantilever, and we'll talk about that later. To retrieve pallets, a unit load retrieval equipment can be used. The features and specs of the equipment will be based on aisle width requirements, the lift height, weight capacity, lane depth that they can reach to, the degree of automation, and the capital expenses. Some of the major types of select or to select from: the walkie stacker, the counterbalance lift truck, the narrow aisle vehicles, and the automated storage retrieval machines or systems. For the small load storage and retrieval equipment, there are two options. Either the operator will go to the stocked items, or the stocked items will come to the operator. In the operator to stock or man to part or in the aisle system, the operator travels to the storage location to retrieve material, while in the stock to operator uh, or part to man, the material is mechanically transported to the operator for retrieval. The advantages of stock to operator are higher productivity, easier supervision, better item security and protection. The disadvantages of stock to operator are more expensive, more maintenance, and more difficult to reconfigure. For example, you have Amazon using programmable robotics to bring the stocked items to the operator. The whole shelves, like a rack, the whole rack will be moved by a robotic system to the operator. Other companies use vertical and horizontal carousel, which also need to be programmed and configured. Some operator to stock equipment are the bin shelving, the modular storage drawers in cabinets, the carton flow racks, the mobile storage. Uh, those equipment can be arranged in levels to get a better utilization of the building cube. More operator to stock retrieval equipment. We have the picking cart, we have the order picker truck, ladder for higher places or loads. You can see that in Lowe's or Home Depot when you go there, and they have the ladder where they go to higher shelves and they bring you the item. We have the person aboard automatic storage retrieval machine or system, which have a captive aisle and free roaming capabilities. And we have the robotic retrieval where everything is done by a robotic arm, as we see in the picture here. Examples of stock to operator equipment are the carousels, like we said before, where the rack rotates either horizontally or vertically, or in an independent rotating racks, bringing the item to the operator. We have mini loads, automated storage and retrieval machines, and automatic dispensers. These equipment allow for parallel order retrieval and focus on extracting rather than traveling and searching. And if you click on this video, you can see the mini loads for the automated storage and retrieval system. So it's about 4 minutes. You can look at the video and you will see how all that works. I'm not going to go through it all, but just showing you how this works. And one of the most used equipment for moving stock to operators are conveyors. Now, most companies, most storage areas and warehouses are using these type of transportation method or way or equipment to move stuff within the warehouse. There are many types of conveyors. We have the flat belt, we have the rollers, we have the telescoping belt, we have the chute, we have the sorting, which includes deflectors, push diverters, pop-up skid wheels, and pop-up rollers, and tilt trays. Um, the use of conveyors became so popular in a way that changes the economics of travel. Conveyors can physically partition the warehouse into zones. You can redesign your warehouse in a way that will have all conveyors to move stuff from one place to another, and that will, of course, create zones where you can make it easier for material handling and material movement. There are also equipment that are related to warehouse docking doors and docking areas. The dock is the interface of the company with the external shipping carriers. The interaction should be as efficient as possible. You want to get stuff in and out as fast as possible. Part of an efficient dock is the configuration and dimensioning of the door and loading dock area. Some of the suggested dock equipment are the dock levelers, which compensate the height difference between the carrier platform and the dock door. We can use mobile yard ramps. We can use permanent adjustable dock boards or truck levelers or scissor type lifting docks. We can also use the bumper, or we need to use the bumper pads, which absorb the shock from the impact of the shipping trailer with the dock walls while backing up when it backs up all the way to get into the loading dock as close as possible. So it touches the loading dock with almost 150,000 pounds of force. The dock shelter, it's a flexible shield that, when engaged to the carrier, provides a closed environment interface between the carrier and the inner area of the warehouse. Usually, this is used for energy saving, increased safety, and product protection from rain, snow, or any other weather effects. When receiving or shipping an item, the stock numbers must be updated. So you must know how much in stock if you are adding or you are subtracting. That could be done manually through a person entering the information into the system, or can be done digitally through special identification and communication equipment. These types of equipment will allow real-time, nearly flawless data collection and communication, and therefore it facilitates and increases the real-time awareness of the location, amount, origin, destination, and schedule of the material. Examples of identification equipment are the barcode technology, barcode readers, barcode printers. We have also the optical character recognition. We have the radio frequency and surface acoustical waves. So either with the radio frequency, using radio frequency, or using acoustical waves, tags. We have also the magnetic strips, and we have the machine vision. While examples of communication equipment are the RFID data terminal, the voice headset, the light and computer aid smart cards. So that will be all for this session. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you and have a great day.